He was terrifying. He was tender. He was unforgettable. Michael Madsen, Hollywood's beloved outlaw, and the man who could make you flinch or cry in the span of a single scene, has passed away.
I don't dodge guilt, and I don't chew out of paying my comeuppance.
And now the cast members of Kill Bill and Free Willy are breaking their silence, sharing raw, emotional tributes to a man who was far more complex than any of the characters he played. Because behind the sunglasses and the gravel voice was a grieving father, a published poet, and a man who just wanted to be seen for who he really was. And once you hear what they've said, you may never watch his films the same way again. Let's get into it. It happened quietly, July 3rd, 2025, just after 8 a.m. Police were called to Michael Madsen's Malibu home. He was found unresponsive and declared dead at the scene. The cause? Cardiac arrest. No signs of foul play, no scandal, just silence. It felt surreal. A man who made so much noise on screen, who filled every frame with chaos, pain, swagger, was suddenly gone, just like that.
I'm a bouncer in a bar, Bill.
Let go of my boy.
Bond got away real fast, didn't he?
News broke across the New York Times, AP, BBC, NBC, The Hollywood Reporter, and the tone was the same everywhere. Respect, sadness, and a kind of quiet disbelief.
Death at the age of 67 was announced of the actor Michael Madsen. He appeared in films including Thelma and Louise, Donnie Brasco, and Kill Bill.
Because for a generation of movie lovers, Michael Madsen wasn't just an actor, he was a presence. Let's be honest, if you've seen Reservoir Dogs, you remember the moment. Mr. Blonde, Vic Vega, that chilling dance to Stuck in the Middle with You as he did what he did to that poor officer. That scene changed cinema. It made Quentin Tarantino a name, and it made Michael Madsen a myth. Then came Kill Bill. As Bud, Bill's estranged, world-weary brother, Madsen gave us something even more heartbreaking. A man who had nothing left but shame and desert wind. That burial scene, chilling, still hard to watch.
This is for breaking my brother's heart.
But just when you think you figured him out, there he is in Free Willy, playing Glenn, the blue-collar foster dad who tries, really tries, to care for a troubled boy and a killer whale.
This is for breaking my brother's heart.
It's that range, monster, brother, father, that made Michael Madsen different. The first tribute came fast, and it came from someone who knew that screen intensity up close. Vivica A. Fox, who starred opposite Madsen in Kill Bill, wrote, "Michael was a talented man with an amazing on-screen presence. My deepest condolences and prayers to his family. Gone too soon. Rest in paradise." Her words hit hard, not just because they were heartfelt, but because you could feel the weight behind them. Kill Bill was violent, yes, but those of us who remember the behind-the-scenes stories know that it was also a set built on mutual respect and raw honesty. And Fox's reaction was a reflection of that bond. Then came a post that stopped everyone. "My brother, Michael, has left the stage. He was thunder and velvet, mischief wrapped in tenderness, a poet disguised as an outlaw, a father, a son, a brother, etched in contradiction, tempered by love that left its mark. We're not mourning a public figure. We're not mourning a myth, but flesh and blood and ferocious heart, who stormed through life, loud, brilliant, and half on fire, who leaves us echoes, gruff, brilliant, unrepeatable, half legend, half lullaby. I'll miss our inside jokes, the sudden laughter, the sound of him. I'll miss the boy he was before the legend. I miss my big brother." There's something haunting about that, before the legend. Before the roles, before Mr. Blonde, before Hollywood turned him into a symbol of danger. Virginia's grief peeled back the curtain and reminded everyone that Michael Madsen was more than just the parts he played. If you grew up in the 90s, chances are Michael Madsen wasn't a villain to you. He was Glenn, the man who reluctantly took in Jesse in Free Willy and ended up helping him rescue a whale. And his co-star, Jason James Richter, shared a heartbreaking tribute. Michael had a profound effect on me. He was like a father figure when we filmed that movie. I will miss him greatly. That wasn't acting. That was who Madsen was. Supportive, protective, present. Richter said that filming Free Willy was one of the most meaningful experiences of his childhood, and that Madsen was a big part of why. Harvey Keitel, another Tarantino legend and Madsen's co-star in Reservoir Dogs, kept it simple, but it shook people. We've lost another great American poet. That's not a term actors throw around lightly, and it's not a metaphor. Because yes, Michael Madsen didn't just act, he wrote. Madsen published multiple books of poetry during his lifetime, and before his death, he was working on one final volume, Tears for My Father, Outlaw Thoughts and Poems. Quentin Tarantino wrote the foreword. In it, Tarantino said, "Michael the writer is exploring what it means to be a man in a world where the notion of manhood is barely remembered." And that was the real Madsen. Tough on the outside, wrecked on the inside. A man trying to survive an industry that praised his darkness, but punished his depth. In the last few years of his life, Madsen took on smaller films, indie dramas, festival projects, anything that let him act. He starred in Resurrection Road, Concessions, and Cookbook for Southern Housewives. He was gearing up for a second act. But for all the roles, there was always the shadow of Mr. Blonde. Madsen once said, "People fear me. They see me and go, 'Holy shit, there's that guy.' But I'm not that guy. I'm a father. I've got 7 kids. I wear pajamas. I watch The Rifleman. I just act." When the news of his death broke, social media lit up. Not with gossip, not with memes, but with memories. Clips of Reservoir Dogs, interviews from decades ago, that Free Willy scene, even grainy fan photos from film festivals long forgotten. People weren't just mourning a movie star. They were remembering a man who felt permanent, like cinema's shadow, always there, always watching. One fan shared, "Met him and David Carradine at a screening for Reservoir Dogs back in 2006 and told him that I loved him in Free Willy. Thought he was gonna kick my ass, but him and Carradine laughed their asses off and talked to me for 10 minutes and signed my poster." Another added, "Same for me, was even more shocking but affirming when I saw him in Reservoir Dogs years later. That tough dad vibe was just scratching the surface." These weren't viral takes, they were real memories from people who saw past the violence in his characters and felt the depth in the man behind them. And maybe that's what hurts most, that Michael Madsen was more than the sum of his parts, more than the violence, more than the roles. He was a man who wrote pain into poetry, who survived a child's death, who played monsters but never became one. His sister saw him as mischief wrapped in tenderness. His co-stars saw him as fearless and kind. And his fans, they saw themselves in him, in all the fractured, furious, beautiful ways. So now we ask you, what's the scene you'll always remember? Was it Mr. Blonde dancing with a razor? Or Glenn quietly saying, "I'm proud of you, Jesse"? Because somewhere between those two men was the real Michael Madsen. Drop your thoughts in the comments, share a memory, a line, a feeling. Rest in peace, Michael. You were thunder, you were velvet, and you were loved.